Trust me when I say I have a pretty cool job. It's above 10,000 feet in sub-zero temperatures. I can't sweat while I'm training because instead of my body getting warmed up, it gets bone-strikingly cold. I'm involved in a sport where I can't wear a jersey, but instead I have to wear at least 15 kgs of equipment and gear. In most sports, if you make a mistake, you lose a game. In my sport, you not only lose a game, but will also lose your life. But wait, I'm not trying to scare you. Because for me, the thrill and the adrenaline of my sport is unmatched, and the view after my so called victory is something I would want to see again and again and again. As you must have guessed, I am a mountaineer, and this is the story of how I summited the tallest peak in the world. We all have learned about Mount Everest, that it's the highest point on earth. But did you know it takes 2 months to successfully scale Everest and at least a few years to prepare for that climb? I am here today to take you on a journey to the top of the world. I started my expedition on 31st March 2021 from Mumbai, 20 feet above the sea level, to Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal. We spent the first few days procuring and checking the gear, packing our expedition food and equipment, catching up with the team, testing ourselves for COVID, getting the climbing permits, and a few days later, we took a short mountain flight to Tenzing Hillary Airport, which is about the size of a football field located at 9,400 feet at the cliff of a mountain hamlet named Lukla, popularly considered as the most dangerous airport on earth and the starting point for treks towards Everest Base Camp. In the days following that, I made a silent prayer as we passed by climbers resting forever in the base of Everest, reminding prospective climbers of the perils they face. The innumerable memorials we passed, though physically below the ground, stood mighty tall like warning signs in the cold. But the years of preparation, hard work, and perseverance to achieve our goals pushed us to continue our journey and stay determined for what we had come for, the summit and nothing less. After a beautiful 8-day trek, we reached Everest Base Camp. Hundreds of international mountaineers journey to Everest each spring, hoping to make a successful ascent of the world's highest peak. The vast majority of their time, however, isn't spent climbing up the flank of the mountain. It's spent resting, acclimatizing, and adapting at the mountain's base camp. Life at base camp is an odd mix of mundane domesticity, logistical challenges, and occasional flash of life or death drama. Every year, a pop-up city is built at the foot of the world's tallest mountain. It is like a Formula One car racing depot. Satellite phones buzz in international tents as the world's languages mix in thrilling accounts of the latest. Journalists, families, and climbers exchange news and emotions between the mountain and the world. For no alpine peak fires imagination like Mount Everest. There is also much contrast, where on one hand you handle the latest tech gear, but still wash your floats in frozen lakes, crushing the ice and working quickly before it freezes over again. You finish your meal quickly before it immediately cools on your plate. You listen to the frequent avalanches coming down surrounding peaks. Base camp is a place of hope, fear, frustration, conflicts, and lifelong friendships. Some climbers will experience their dream fulfilled, others will have to return home with an unfinished task. It is up to you to determine your capabilities, prepare hard enough for your goal, and leave the rest to luck. After a few days, we went to Camp 1. Reaching Camp 1 at Everest involves crossing the most dangerous parts of Everest, the Khumbu Icefall. This place is similar to a huge horror chamber at an amusement park. Only this one is for real. There are countless things that can happen here. A crevasse might open under you, an ice pinnacle can fall on top of you, the entire area can collapse. All you can do is concentrate on getting out of here as quickly as you possibly can. After a long day of climbing, we reached Camp 1 just above 19,500 feet, not to rest, but to melt snow for food and water while catching up with other climbers and celebrating the fact that we were still alive. Camp 1 is a vast flat area of endless snow, deep crevasses, and mountain walls frequently washed by avalanches. At night, we listened to the deep, murmuring, cracking sounds under our tents. It was the crevasses opening and closing deep down in the glacier beneath. You keep your fingers crossed that it won't happen right under your tent. At least not right now while you are in it. The next day, after an endless slow march through the silent valley, we reached a rocky patch at the foot of the icy Lhotse wall. This marks Camp 2 at 21,000 feet. An absolutely stunning view. Clouds rolling from the lower ranges of the Himalayas up the valley and into the camp. After spending a few nights at these high camps, ferrying loads and trying to expose our bodies till the maximum altitude, we returned to base camp to rest and recover while waiting for a weather window for the final summit push. A few days later, on the 8th of May, we received a report that portrayed a perfect, clear low wind forecast until the afternoon of 14th May. We decided to start that night to reach the summit on the morning of 13th and return to safety before an extremely severe cyclonic storm, Tokte, was about to make landfall on the west coast of India, bringing snowstorms and high winds at Everest. We thought that the cyclone was the worst of our problems, but something worse stood in front of me. As the leader of our international expedition team, I decided to get all the members tested for COVID 19 once again, just as a precaution before the final summit push. A few moments later, as I was enjoying the view with some ginger lemon honey tea, I checked my testing kit which was lying on a boulder and I saw a thin line on it. I kept staring at it, hoping that it would disappear. I tested positive for COVID. Imagine yourself getting COVID 19 at the most perilous place on earth, where there is lack of oxygen while you need to be at your peak performance. Years of preparation crumbling down, the world falling apart. I immediately isolated myself and started consulting a few different doctors using the sketchy satellite network. I did everything in my power to fight back, to not give up, while keeping safety at priority. As life trumps everything, it was obvious that I could not continue going up. But I wanted to give it a try without worrying about the results. Just take calculated risk and give it a shot. A few days later, as the storm passed, we received the news of another more severe cyclone approaching from the Bay of Bengal while I was staying there in isolation. Cyclone Yas. This cyclone might not leave until the season ends and we would all lose our chance of attempting the peak this year. Between the high winds, there was a very narrow window on the morning of 23rd during which I decided to attack the target. The beauty of mountaineering can be seen at Camp 4. Camp 4 at 26,000 feet sits on a plateau resembling a moonscape. The sky owns a strange dark blue color. It is surely the closest you can get to space on Earth. On reaching Camp 4, it took me over half an hour to find Forte, my Sherpa guide, since every person looked similar, like astronauts wearing spacesuits and oxygen masks. Both of us were taken aback when we realized that our tent was torn apart by the wind. But luckily, We managed to borrow a tent from another kind team and pitch it amidst winds above 70 kilometers per hour. While Camp 4 is beautiful, it is also the place where the media, fun, and fame disappears. Only fear remains on everyone's face. Resting in your tent, you are feeling weak already. We try to get some sleep as the sun sets outside because in a couple of hours we'll start to put on our gear. We were now only left with the final part of the adventure, the summit push. I went over my gear in broad daylight, tried to have everything organized. Socks, mittens, energy gels, headlamp, 3 layers of boots, and several odd other things which were crucial for my success as well as survival. The thing about summiting Everest is that you will feel great as long as the day is bright, but you will lose spirit fast as the night falls. The cold, scary darkness outside is uninviting. The wind rustles the tent canvas, howling. Although tired, I was not able to sleep a wink. After a long wait, it was finally time. At about 9:40 pm, we stepped out into the night. It's completely silent. Nobody talks. If you do, you whisper. It's absolutely terrifying, and we climbed and climbed, awaiting the first ray of dawn. It's desperately cold. It's steep and icy. Only one thing is constant, the adrenaline that kept our bodies moving. After a long, tiring climb, a cold white moon rises from below, but we hardly glanced at it or even at the bright twinkle of the stars above. And then, suddenly, after hours and hours of despair, we noticed a thin blue beam of light at the horizon across the Tibetan plateau on the right side. Sunrise. The mountain projects itself like a magnificent symmetrical pyramid overshadowing the Himalayas on the left side. Beneath lies the world in all its glory, glowing in the rising sun. We felt warmth and hope returning. At around 4:30 am, I was hanging at the steep and exposed slabs of the southeast ridge, having a short rest, pushing down an energy gel. A ridge lay ahead, and not far at all is the south summit. A few moments later, I stepped up onto the small plateau of the south summit, and just right there, around the corner, is the Everest summit itself. A whole lot of hope gushed right in, and my eyes were wet because until now I wasn't sure if I would be able to make it. You have watched it so many times from a distance, and now it is so strangely close. Only 100 meters across the knife ridge. 1 hour to a maximum 1.5 hours to reach. Forte, my mountain guide, told me. And then the moment I had been waiting for. At 6:20 am, I reached the top. I summited Mount Everest. I reached out for the camera in my chest pocket. I reached out for the camera in my chest pocket only to realize that I dropped it while grabbing the energy gel below the south summit. It was probably gone rolling down thousands of feet to the glacier in Tibet and might be found 100 years later. If any of you go there, please try to find my camera. I immediately started a video recording on my phone and gave it to Forte while trying to pose with my nation's flag and other causes that I was supporting during this climb. The state of euphoria I was in while unfurling my proud Tiranga at the top of the world simply cannot be expressed in words. The sense The sense of achievement, that feeling of accomplishment after years of hard work paying off was truly extraordinary. But I soon realized a few important truths which I would like to share with you guys as well. Everest is not about summiting, adding to your image, the conquest of nature or of other humans. If that's what you have come for, you will miss out on the true treasure. The happiest moments on my journey were the small, big wins, not just the summit. A lot of people be too focused on the summit only to reach the top and feel lost. Secondly, if you focus on how others perceive you and what everybody thinks of you, you will become a prisoner of their judgment in your desire to prove your self worth. You will climb blindfolded and feel an immense failure if you don't submit. Or if you are successful, go home, celebrate your triumph and fame, and when the lights are eventually turned towards someone else, end up empty, again chasing new ways for brief applause and acknowledgements. In the meantime, you will lose who you really are, what you really would like to accomplish. It is truly remarkable to accomplish great things and explore the unknown. Yet, your dreams should be pursued because they are sprung out of your own curiosity, not just a desire to impress. Be sure to climb your Everest, scale your summit. I took the experience back home with me, forever remembering that going forward, there are many more remarkable things in this world to experience, a beauty and drama beyond our wildest imagination. All we have to do is to let our minds run towards our dreams, face our fears, and try to accomplish something worthwhile. The summit is such a small piece of the mountain. Most of the beauty and wonders are experienced during the climb. Thank you.